Okay, after much beating and prying with screwdrivers, the clutch is off. Obviously there's a better way of doing this, but yeah, see there's puller holes there. I should make a universal puller. You screw these bolts into here and just wind the bolt in and it'll carefully pull it off the shaft. Yeah. Pullers are for rebuilders. I'm not rebuilding this, so screw it, we're going to do it the destructive way. And again, giant circlips. There's one holding the bearing race in there, which is an internal one, and there's an external one there, which I need to remove. It's a bit hard to see where the camera is, but ping! There we go. Try not to hit yourself in the face with it. This is much easier than the last one. I don't have to bash it against the side of the table. At least I don't think. There we go. See, that's how they should be. You don't have to fight the damn thing. Ooh. So the clutch coil's gotten a bit hot. It's weeping something. It's actually weeping out of the coil. Yuck. Okay. Very greasy. It's definitely been leaking a bit of refrigerant oil. Yeah. Definitely gotten hot. Although there's water on it from sitting outside though, so that's probably what that is. It's just rainwater. But that clutch coil's gotten hot. Another giant internal circlip. Clutch cable. Well, that screw ran it out without any difficulty. There we go. One baked clutch assembly. And it's the compressor body. There's a bit of oil around the shaft. Not too much though, which is good. And the system is still holding pressure, so it's not all that bad. Okay, so that takes that off. I wonder if I should remove the back first. Ah, screw it, we'll take the front cover off. There's a little half moon key in there. Woodruff key, half moon key, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why I didn't use this gun earlier. It's been sitting in my bloody tool cupboard for ages. Oh, this is going to get oily. Okay, so it looks like a single acting swash plate compressor. There's the swash plate, right, this little centre bearing and a major thrust bearing in there. That's really neat. There's radial bearing in the inside there, and on the outside there's a radial bearing right there, as well as some seals and things between them. And there's a thrust bearing there. I'll try and separate that gently, like just like that. Gently as in brute force. As you can see, thrust bearings take thrust load, radial bearings take radial load. Ball bearing races are a good compromise between the two, but they're not ideal. Okay, it's a roller bearing, it's not even a ball bearing, it's a roller bearing. They're really good for radial load. absolutely useless for thrust load, just the shaft just slides through it, but that's what that one's for. It's a thrust bearing. Nice one too. And that seat there is fully hardened and keyed into the housing, of course. I know someone's going to be griping about me not using gloves, but I really hate working on fine stuff like this with gloves on. You just can't get the feel for it. It's not even a hard, thick seat, it's just a shim, but more than enough, a nice hardened shim. So that's that housing. It's got seals down inside there, nice big thrust bearing there, or sorry, roller bearing, radial roller bearing, and that's big seal in there. Not an awful lot to that. The swash plate has a thrust bearing on that side too, so that sits in there like so, and pushes and pulls the pistons through here. Pistons are all in this part of the body. Again, hardened thrust bearing surface, and a hardened thrust bearing surface there. So that's all for thrust bearings. Might keep him, that's kind of neat. I used to have a little one as a keyring when I was a kid. I pulled it out of an automatic transmission. I think I was about 9 years old when I pulled that thing to pieces. There's an oil pickup or something. No, that's the top of the compressor, so whatever that tube is, it goes back to the housing end. And that's on a central ball thing. That's a ball pivot, swivel, whatever you want to call it. There's a thrust bearing off that one. Okay, it's time to get oil everywhere. Okay, so pistons are sitting in the cylinders. That oil's unpleasant looking. I think Brad might want to flush that air conditioning system. That's rather black. Evil. I just heard that, just fell out. So that's the piston assembly, and there's a centre pivot there. Oh, I see, it's even got a gear on it. It's rather unusual. I'll try and keep it in frame. It's got gear teeth on it. Pistons are scored, but not too bad. Whoops, there goes that one. So that's rather unusual. It's got that large ball bearing that sits in the centre. Yeah, all this does is oscillate on the swash plate, and these pistons move up and down the bores as it oscillates. They're quite interesting concept. Danfoss Group just put up a video on their channel on a rotary piston compressor, which is used, or rotary piston pump, which is used to convey fluids and other stuff like that. Diesel injection pump, similar design, or the rotary diesel injection pumps. I'll scrounge that video up and post a link in the description too. It gives you a better concept of it using 3D diagrams. But yeah, that's the actual piston assembly. Rather nasty, and the rest of that is reed valves and discharge chamber, high pressure side, sorry, that side. $13mm. probably won't even upload the first bit of the video. It's just me rambling on about it and trying to get the clutch off. So if you're watching this as a single piece after I've got the clutch broken free, then yeah, that's the model. It's a Land Rover Range Rover compressor, factory fitted, 1988 I think. That nasty debris in there was there when I found it. Whatever it is. Yeah, I think Brad needs to flush that refrigerant system out before he rebuilds it. There we go, just break that gasket away. Yeah, high pressure discharge side through those central reed valves, and that's low pressure suction side going into each of the cylinders. So it's a single acting swash plate compressor. The double acting ones, like I've autopsied before, have cylinders on both ends and a swash plate in between, so the pistons are double ended and they move back and forth compressing on both cycles, so they're probably doubly effective, I guess you'd say. And again, take your crappy old screwdrivers, don't use your good ones for this. Try not to lose it. I'll fish that one out later. Well, the gaskets were holding very well. I'll give them that much. And yeah, it's a cylinder bores. Smells kind of nasty, looks kind of nasty. But they're your inlet reeds, suction reeds. Gas goes in, gets compressed, gets pushed out through there, which is under that little stopper plate. So the gas comes out under that reed there into the centre chamber. And it's raining outside. Wonderful. It's been raining for the last couple of days. Either way, that's the end of that one. A smelly, oily mess. What else can I say? It's an R12 Sanden SD-510 air conditioning compressor for Range Rover. 1988 era Range Rover, made in Japan. Was still working. The system was still holding most of a charge. It was very low on gas, but it was still working. But the fact that this compressor felt pretty rough when you turned it over by hand was indicative of the wear and tear that was in it. So yeah, I'm going to recommend to Brad that he flushes the system that's still in the Range Rover, the evaporator coil. Probably fits new lines anyway if it's going to rebuild the system, get new flexible hoses and O-rings, things like that. But yeah, it's seen a lot of use, but it didn't shred itself, not like the next equipment autopsy victim, which is coming right up. A shredded Sanden scroll compressor, completely locked up and full of metallic paste basically. It's made its own never seize and stop leak all in one. It's just a fine aluminum paste coming out of that compressor, and it doesn't turn at all anymore. Well, stay tuned for that one next. Thanks for watching.